So, welcome to, I guess, what I'm dubbing Sector Ominaticus? I don't know, I haven't made up a name properly yet. So, this is my video diary log. It's a place that I'm going to film. Basically, me rediscovering my childhood. A long time ago, I got introduced to the world of tabletop wargaming, and in particular from the fantasy genre. I was about 93, so I was about maybe 12, 13, and I was a big fan of Lord of the Rings and those sort of books. And this was before the movies, so I was like, reading lots. I was captivated by this world of fantasy and imagination and dwarves and orcs and elves and all those sort of things. And a friend of mine handed me some books that were then quite new. They were these ones. Yeah, Conrad, Shadowbreed, and Warblade. Now at the time, Warblade had only just been released, but these two had been a few years earlier. These introduced me to the Warhammer world. Books by David Ferring. I loved them. As a 13-year-old kid, I thought these were absolutely awesome. They completely sold me on this world. And I then learnt all about, Miniatures Wargaming, which was the extension of that world. I mean, these are obviously books designed to feed your imagination into these games played with little miniatures. So, shortly after that, my friend and I went halves in the then fourth edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles. We split our miniatures. I ended up with these little goblins, which were my first foray into the miniature painting world. They're pretty rubbish as far as paint jobs go, but these were my first things. It's one of those things that I'll come back to periodically as I get back into this sort of thing and see how I go compared to my 13, 14-year-old self. But anyway, so yeah, sold on that, loved it, absolutely loved Warhammer. I was chaotic at the time, so orcs were my thing. My friend and I split these. He had the high elves, I had the orcs, or the goblins then, got some orcs. Anyway, life went on, got sidetracked, work, things, stuff, couldn't keep up with rules. They kept changing the rules, they kept changing the stuff, and time to play, time to paint, all of those sort of things. So it kind of fell by the wayside. And for the last 10, 15 years, haven't done anything with it. These models have been sitting there gathering dust. And that's kind of sad. So I decided I might change that. And that's what this is about. So I thought I'd do a diary of it, a log, and see if there's others like me that are getting back into this in their 30s, that are now, I'm mid to late 30s now, so, looking to do this kind of stuff again. It's kind of fun. I like it. I'm not a big fan of video games. I'm not a big fan of the internet game thing. I like to play against someone, like chess, like when you're playing with a person. And that's a hard thing to find these days. So I've noticed there's a community on YouTube of people that are into painting. And I'm quite fond of painting. I don't know how I'll go with it now. We'll see. That's what these videos are about. I'm going to start getting back into painting. I'm going to start getting back into the modelling and see how I go. I've got some new things to work on. I noticed there was a re-release of a game I was fond of in the mid-90s, a game called Necromunda. So the other day I was actually over in the UK a couple of weeks ago and managed to get these quite cheap, because apparently it's not a very good game now. I don't know, you tell me. But these were literally being chucked out, like a third of the price they are here in Australia, if you can find them. So I have the brand new box, Necromunda, Underhive. Cool. I'm going to open this later. I'm going to film it. We're going to go through it. I'm going to learn it. That's kind of what this is about. I also got a Delac gang. The models look cool. Matrix style. I thought, hey, that's fun. We'll try that. So I also got the, obviously the new rulebooks. Typical Games Workshop. They want to try and sell lots of stuff. That's one of the things that kind of annoyed me about them recently, as I was getting back into this, and I discovered this whole Age of Sigmar hurrah. Now, many of you have probably got wonderful things to say about Age of Sigmar. I'm not convinced at this point. I'm obviously coming back into the hobby. These things happened a couple of years ago. To me, the idea of Warhammer Fantasy was a fantasy thing. The artwork and storyline that I've seen from Age of Sigmar doesn't really excite me that much. But then 40k never excited me that much as a canon, as an idea. Now my whole thing with this was it was a storyline, and I loved it, like a role-playing game, like Dungeons and Dragons. It was immersing yourself in the story of a campaign and just loving these models. I used to play, we'd play campaigns, and when my orcs died and my champions died, it was like heartbreaking. There's a lot of passion there and a lot of imagination. It wasn't just like soulless. And I don't know, I find with 40k and with what I see of Age of Sigmar, that doesn't really gel with me now. It may change. Convert me. Explain. Please. I'm new to this again. But it's a little saddening that all my horde of orcs that I have out there, half painted, that I need to continue painting, that's what this is about, that their rule set changed. I know there's the 9th Age, which I've been looking into. If any of you are into the 9th Age rules and stuff and want to help me out with that, give me suggestions, comments, such things, I'm keen for that. If any of you are in the Sydney region and you want a game, if you want to help me learn the 9th Age, hey, try Age of Sigmar. Or Necromunda. Hey, I'm obviously delving into that in a very new way. So any of those things, please hit me up. I'd love to know where you guys play, how, what's going on. Yeah. If you want to learn more about all of this, if you want to subscribe, fine. Comment, let me know. I'll be setting up the usual social media type things to go with all of this. And I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers!